Hi, welcome to your carrier update brought to you by PowerFleet. I'm Mike Vincent. He's Zach Strickland. It's Thursday. Freight markets are crazy. What's up?
It is Thursday, and we see the tender rejection index here for the nation taking a huge jump up, about 0.5%. About 0.5% jump up. But for the national average, this is a big deal.
It is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, for the national average, you don't see these big jumps that often.
No.
Not in a single day, at least. So
No.
up over 22%, back again after we see this little bit of a decline. These type of jumps are kind of trend changers. You know, they kind of break out of this overriding theme, the September slide, if you will, that we were starting to see. But we're approaching the end of the month, so we got a ton of demand. It's just we know that we're going to stay relatively, probably above 20% for the rest of the year in terms of tender rejection rates.
Yeah, end of month September usually isn't a big spike though, right?
No,
it's
not
like,
a lot of volatility
It's
here.
not like an end of quarter normally would be.
Yeah,
right?
no, but we do see a little bit traditionally, a little bit of tightening at the end of the month. But at this point, I mean, we're talking about 0.5% like moves, percent moves. What's the difference between 22 and 23% tender rejection rate? You know, it's
1%.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, you did. Good job. You passed your math for the day. So yeah, I mean, the market's extremely tight still. We're not seeing any dramatic shifts. That's the big takeaway. Expect similar conditions, but we do have some underlying granularity shifts going on. But let's look at the OTVI next. Let's look at demand and back up that statement I just made about demand remaining extremely consistent over the last 6 months, if you will. Yeah, looking all the way back into April, we're actually above where we were for most of the last 6 months.
Except for a couple spikes here.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, again, you can call it coming out of that Labor Day period, but we're well beyond Labor Day at this point. And
we are, and we're above, except for holiday spikes.
Yeah,
we're on an uptrend.
We're flatlining right here.
Yeah.
So again, expect to be as busy as you've always been.
Yeah.
If not a little bit more. And of course, we talk about the short haul growth as well. That has happened. It's happening around Ontario. In Los Angeles, of course, a lot of port railhead movement situations there, some DCs. As all that freight comes in, those boats, they shove all this freight in and it's got to go somewhere.
Well, yeah, but then it goes into the secondary distribution markets like Dallas and Columbus, Ohio, et cetera, and those
except they can't get any long haul capacity, so they have to shove them into warehouses intermediately.
That's exactly right.
And that's basically what's happening is they're just trying to just get the freight out of the way so that they can continuously pull it into the country right now. And that's happening around the port haul market. So a lot of this demand, short haul freight, that's what drives some of those rejection rates down, even though the overall market appears to be similarly tight over the last 6 months or so.
Gotcha.
So let's look at what's going on in individual markets with our weighted rejection tree map coming up next. I didn't want to put it on the map this time just because it kind of was, it was a little muted for what was going on. I wanted to highlight.
This gives you a little bit clearer picture.
This is the actual numbers behind the map. When we're looking at this, you want to just pay attention to the upper left and bottom right-hand corners. These are the markets driving. The biggest drivers in the market in terms of overall capacity, either tightening or loosening. Now, we had an uptick in tender rejection rates, and I've been waiting for this moment because the tightest, the single most significant market in the country right now, Fargo, North Dakota.
An exciting day for you.
It is an exciting day because normally
4 years, folks, he's been waiting.
Fargo, North Dakota is the market we use to explain why we have the weighted rejection index because it takes a lot of energy.
25% is like one load.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy for Fargo, North Dakota market, which is almost the entire state of North Dakota, to actually show up on the weighted rejection index because it is such a volatile market. Not a lot of volume coming out of here, but today,
there it is.
There it is.
There's a moment of glory.
At the top. And it's surrounded by Charlotte, North Carolina, Elizabeth, New Jersey, both huge markets in terms of overall freight volume.
Yeah, exactly. Joliet's right over here near.
Yeah. Normally, this is a very polarized view of large markets. Large markets tend to sit out here because they control
on the corners because they affect the nation the most.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And we got Dallas sitting down here. Stabilizing. So if you are going into the Dallas market, expect a little bit looser conditions this week versus last week. Houston, Texas, same thing. Jacksonville, Florida, all along the Gulf Coast down here. And then Stockton, California, backhaul market easing as well week over week. So we go into the next chart and see some of those. Let's look at the Fargo, North Dakota chart. And really, this illustrates it dramatically. Look at this jump in rejection rate, 35 to 50% for the
Wow.
Fargo market for tender rejections.
That's a jump.
There's Charlotte and Elizabeth down here. Here's Charlotte and Elizabeth volumes. Here's Fargo's volume.
Yeah, exactly.
So it takes an act of God to put Fargo, North Dakota. So if you are going into Fargo, spot market activity, pretty significant. And actually, it's actually up to where, well over where it was just a few weeks ago around the holidays.
Right before the holiday, man. It's on a tear here.
The
I mean, look at
volatility is
jump
the big
from here to
takeaway
there.
here for Fargo. You got a lot of volatility there.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Amazing stuff. Fargo. Go to Fargo. Get some gold. Thank you for that, Zach. We'll dig in a little bit deeper a little later in the show.